All right, let's tie a bow on this thing with the Atlanta Braves. I'm going to ask you to stop me when you feel like you need to interject when you get to the position by position thing, because this is as good of a team on paper as there is in baseball. 2023 payroll, $206 million, dollars, projected 24, 224. So they're about $15 million shy of the CBT. Transactions so far, they gave Alex Anthopoulos a well-deserved 7-year contract extension. That guy is the gold standard, it seems, right now, along with Friedman, along with Eric Neander. They signed Pierce Johnson to a 2-year, $14 million extension with a club option. They signed Joe Jimenez to a 3-year, $26 million extension. They had a big thing about paying relievers this offseason.
Yeah.
They declined options on Eddie Rosario, Kirby Yates, Colin McHugh, Brad Hand. They exercised a $20 million option on Charlie Morton. They acquired Aaron Bummer for every quad A guy they had. They acquired Jared Kelnick and Cole Phillips for Marco Gonzalez and Evan White. Then they flipped Gonzalez to Pittsburgh for future considerations. They sold Nick Anderson to Kansas City. They traded him for cash considerations. They signed Reynaldo Lopez to a 3+1 at $30 million. They traded Evan White, who they acquired in Tyler Thomas, to the Angels for Max Stassi and David Fletcher, then flipped Max Stassi for future considerations. They acquired Matt Carpenter and Ray Kerr from San Diego for Drew Campbell. They released Matt Carpenter. They, let's see, traded Kyle Wright for Jackson Kowar, and then they flipped Kowar for another thing. They traded Vaughn Grissom for Chris Sale and cash, and then extended Sale for 2 years, $38 million. And they signed Louis Guillorme to a 1-year, $1 million deal. A lot of people on X, on Twitter, were saying that Alex Anthopoulos was bored, and that's why he was doing these things. Major league executives do not trade because they're bored. He did this because he was doing a jigsaw puzzle salary wise, and it fucking works.
Genius. I don't think we've seen anybody operate like that, like to that degree, taking on bad contracts, but that are movably bad still, though. Like you could still kind of move them, mixing and matching, finding opportunities here and there. You have to have such a pulse of the entire league to be able to do that and wheel and deal. And that's why Anthopoulos is, the best in the biz, or at least one of. Looking at where they're at, oh, you're going to walk us through the team and then, we'll stop you. But yeah, I mean, I thought Anthopoulos cooked. Even the smaller moves, Guillorme was a great fit for them.
Yeah.
And as a utility guy, I mean, getting Fletcher as well,
Yeah.
in like an offsetting of money that you don't want to pay, like that's better. It's better than the other deal. So I like what they did. I really
Like,
do.
brother, they made Nicky Lopez good. You're telling me they can't make Fletcher and Louis Guillorme good again? Like,
Yeah.
come on now.
Yeah.
All right. Farm system, don't care. It's not that good, don't care. Catcher, Sean Murphy and Travis d'Arnaud, maybe the best tandem in all of baseball. First base, Matt Olson, he plays 162 games. Awesome. Ozzie Albies and David Fletcher as the second base tandem. Third base is Austin Riley and probably Louis Guillorme or Fletcher. Shortstop, Orlando Arcia and Louis Guillorme. The outfield, Acuna, Mike Harris, Jared Kelnick, and Forrest Wall. The starting rotation, Strider, Freed, Morton, Sale, Bryce Elder, AJ Smith-Shawver. I just named 6 guys. That's disgusting.
Disgusting.
They'll probably have Waldrop up by the All-Star break in some form or fashion with Dodd, Vines, Enoa, Allen Winans all waiting to make a spot start in August. Fuck.
Yeah, it's nuts. And then don't sleep on Spencer Schwellenbach. I don't know if he gets up this year, but with how
Yeah.
aggressive they are, he does have the stuff to get pushed up quickly. Former 2A guy, really fun on the mound. So I think there's one thing I see here, just one. I would like a right-handed hitting outfielder. Could be a bench guy, but one, I don't want Kelnick facing lefties like ever.
Yeah.
Two, I do think it's a good insurance policy to Kelnick. Three, Marcelo Ozuna can't play the outfield, so you can't really slide him over there and put d'Arnaud at DH. Like, I don't know if that's even an option. Like, that would be the insurance policy, I guess. But, like, I don't know if you could justify putting Ozuna in the outfield. I mean, they put him out there for 2 games last year. So I really think it's DH and DH only. So from that lens, you need a right-handed bat, I think, to hedge and also help Jared Kelnick's development. We already, well, I'm not doing Hicks twice in the same episode,
Yeah, don't do
but
it.
I look at Randall Grichuk.
Sure.
I think that's a name that makes a lot of sense. Um, and I honestly think that's just is the biggest no brainer for me is Randall Grichuk. They like the vets. He's not a guy that was like unusably bad. So
Yeah.
where like I think he will actually be good in that platoon type role. And again, they like those guys that have been there, done that. And Grichuk's been around for a while. Not a bad fit at all, I think, for them. He might be looking for an everyday role, but how about a chance at a World Series?
Do you know what Kyle Lewis slashed in AAA last year?
Honestly, no, but it couldn't have been that good.
Think again. 63 games for Kyle Lewis. He slashed 371,
Holy shit.
457, 641. He had a 1098 OPS
Why
with
did I not know that?
17 homers and 80 driven in 63 games.
Holy crap, I did not know that. I did not know that.
I want to sign Kyle Lewis instead of Randall Grichuk.
Oh my God, Lewis and Kelnick again.
I am so in, so in. Turn him into the Seattle Braves, but I'm cool with Grichuk. The
Grichuk
bullpen.
against lefties this past season, 155 WRC plus.
There we
Against
go.
righties, 79.
Sign Grichuk to a 1 year deal. Bullpen, Raisel Iglesias, Minter, Lopez, who they just acquired, Jimenez, Pierce Johnson, Matzik, Bummer, Ray Kerr, Dylan Lee. Shout out Charlie Culberson, who's trying to make his bounce back as a reliever too, which is fun. If you sign Randall Grichuk, I think this is a perfect baseball team.
Yeah, it's just about and also don't sleep on Ray Kerr. That was another one where people are like, oh, they're making a trade just to make a trade. No, they got a lefty reliever that throws up to 100 with options. They wanted options. They wanted to be able to be flexible. Look out for Ray Kerr if he can just command his stuff a little bit. He could be a problem.
One more question so we don't just go 3 minutes on the Braves. Bryce Elder is going to get the fifth start of the season for the Braves because of what he did last year. Like, hey, he was an all-star at the big league level last year, and AJ Smith-Shawver was a tweener. On June 10th, if it is the 5 spot in the rotation's turn to start a game, do you think it's Bryce Elder or do you think it's AJ Smith-Shawver?
June 10th. That gives him how many starts? That would give
We're
him
2.5 months into the season at that point.
about 14 starts. Yeah, I'm gonna go AJ Smith-Shawver. Uh, Bryce Elder, dude, over his last, what was it,
He was
15 starts?
not good over his last 15.
He wasn't good over really his last 10. Basically the second half of the season. The second half of the season, especially against his sinker, opponents hit, which is the pitch that he thrives off of, that's
Yeah.
36% usage. Opponents hit 319, 425, 542.
Yep.
15% walk rate, 14% K rate off that. I know that's not a strikeout pitch, but like,
Yeah.
come on. Only a 46% ground ball rate too. Like, I'm worried that the league adjusted and figured out Elder to a degree. I love him as like a, plug and play guy, but AJ Smith-Shawver has the number 3 upside, like maybe even a little bit more than that. People forget how young he is because they fast tracked him so hard. I think Smith-Shawver takes over and he gives them a lot more upside in that rotation.
I love it. That was the Atlanta Braves. It was also the Cubs, the White Sox, the IFA names, Yariel Rodriguez, and Josh Hader. A loaded Friday episode. Spread it out over the course of the weekend if you need to. Don't think you need to. Every link you need is in the episode description. Go get your Just Baseball merch. Support the pod any way you can. I'm blanking on the word. Why am I blanking on the word? It's 6:20 p.m. Rate and review. Yeah, leave
Yes.
reviews.
Don't
The
underestimate
reviews,
the good old word of mouth.
right.
Share the show, please.
The power of reviews is huge, either on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. Spotify's so easy. It's like you just click a
I,
number.
I always tell people that the power of telling your friends too really
Yeah,
helps.
huge. Power of
Really
friendship.
helps. So I appreciate you.
I love it. All right.
Really, seriously.
We'll talk to you guys on Monday.